You can start.
Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudhapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we have finished. I should not say we have finished, because we can never finish Krishna Katha. Krishna Katha is such a vast subject that it can never be finished. The same story what we have discussed in Krishna Katha, a story which we have discussed today, can be discussed more elaborately and with a different meaning and with more realizations in the next session. So it's a very vast subject, and different the more the number of times we hear, the number of times we read it, we understand it better, and we get more clarity about Krishna. But we are fortunate we could at least hear some of the stories of Krishna Katha. In about 10 sessions we heard about Krishna Katha. So now so what we shall do is we shall move to we are actually following ISKCON Sampradayam. We are into ISKCON. We are all following ISKCON. So we are all members of ISKCON society. So here what we are doing is we have to understand, when we are going to a school, we should understand which school we are going, what are the basic constitution of the school, what are the principles the school follows, who has started the school, why he has started, what is the purpose of the school, and many other things we have to understand. Only then we will have more clarity. Anything we do, you children should understand what is that we are doing and who is the man behind it. That will give good clarity about it. So when we come to ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. See, when Prabhupada it is Prabhupada's idea, his vision, that ISKCON has been formed. When Prabhupada started ISKCON in USA, not in India, in USA, many people said, why do you name it as International Society for Krishna Consciousness? Because in our Hindu society, all of us have different ideas. Some say Krishna is God, some says I like Rama, some says I like Anjaneya, some says I am from Shiva's cult, I like Shiva, some says I like Durga, and totally different. But many times in his books and his preachings, Prabhupada has very clearly told why Krishna is God. And also, we are hearing Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. So, in that also, we have very clearly learned that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. That means he is the head of all the gods, he is the creator, he is the man behind the total happenings around. So, when we know who is Krishna, who is God, why should we be vague on the name? Let us have the name as Krishna consciousness, not as God consciousness. Just to avoid confusion or people commenting negative on it, many objected, but Prabhupada is a very strong minded person and a great visionary, so he very boldly named it as International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Right. So we should understand who this man Prabhupada is. Only when we understand his greatness, then we will also understand the greatness of his preachings. See, when there are two people tell the same issue, somebody says, suppose there are two people who have come to us and says you don't do it, and the second man also says you don't do it. But so the first person is a very normal person who has not done much in life and who cannot express himself properly, and or rather who is a failure, says you don't do this. We don't value his much words much. Whereas when a successful person whom we value, that his vision is good, his understanding is good, and whatever he is doing, he is able to prove it right, we value his words more. Right? Do all of you agree to this? So, here we should understand who this Prabhupada is. If you understand who this man is, we will start valuing his words more. Okay? Right. So, every day we are doing prayers before starting the classes. What does the prayer says? I don't know how many of you understood the meaning of the prayers, what we are doing. Even the prayers when we do, we should understand the meaning of the prayer, what the prayer mean. Only then we'll follow it. Never by heart anything without understanding it. We do the prayer, Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjala Salakaya Chakshurmilitam Unmilitam Ena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. What does it mean? What does these words mean? Is something we have to understand. It says, I offer my respectable obeisances unto my spiritual master, means my guru, spiritual master. Teacher is a materialistic master, and this we are offering our pranamas to our spiritual master, who has opened my eyes. Opened my eyes means who has enlightened me. Which were blinded by the darkness of ignorance. What is the ignorance we have? It is not the ignorance of materialistic behavior, it is the ignorance of the spiritual knowledge. How many of us knew who God was before coming to this session? At least I did not know. I was thinking all are gods only. Krishna is a god, Shiva is a god, the Durga Mata is a god, everyone are gods. But only after coming to this, we understood who the supreme personality is. So that was our ignorance. So remove the darkness of ignorance with the torchlight of knowledge. How will the darkness go? We have to understand there is nothing called darkness. There is nothing called darkness anywhere. What is darkness? What is darkness? Not availability of light is darkness. When there is no light around, it means that is darkness. So, with the torchlight of knowledge, he has focused on us the knowledge which has removed the darkness in us, and then we are all becoming enlightened slowly. It also says, he who removes darkness of ignorance of blinded means unenlightened by applying the ointment, the medicine, the kaduka of spiritual knowledge. He who opens the eyes, salutations unto the Holy Guru. We have to pray to the Guru. Why do we need a Guru? We always talk about it. Why do we need a Guru? Guru we need to enlighten ourselves with knowledge. If you take word by word meaning also, it is the same. Anjanana means ignorance, Timira means darkness, and all this. So you have to understand the meaning of this. And the next sloka says, Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Surnyavadi Paschatya Desatarine. What does this line mean? Our respectable obeisances are unto you, O spiritual master, servant of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami. You are kindly preaching the message of Lord Chaitanya Deva and delivering the Western countries, which are filled with impersonalism and voidism. Here, what does this say? See, we are praying to a spiritual master whose master is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami. That means our Prabhupada's guru's name is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami. We have to remember this. You are preaching the message of Lord Chaitanya Prabhu. We have learned who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teach us? He said, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama Kevalam. He didn't say that, but that's what he preached. That means the Kali Yuga Dharma. The Kali Yuga Dharma is nothing but chanting of Hare Nama. He also, when lot of Brahmins protested on all the other people, saying this holy mantra, Om Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. He said, okay, he didn't want to fight with anybody. He said, the moment we remove the word Om, it does not be a mantra anymore. So just remove it and do it. And when he preached that also, when there was a protest on that also, they say he has reversed it. But it is Krishna who has come before Rama, who is there before Rama. So the correct way to say is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. What did all these gurus teach? They have just taught us that the Kali Yuga Dharma is only, you need not do anything, just Hare Nama, Hare preaching of Hare Nama. So here what he says, our respectable obeisances to you, O spiritual master, servant of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami, who was kindly preaching the message of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and delivering us. Where is he delivering us? He is delivering us to back to Godhead, that is to Goloka. After we finish this birth, we have to go back to our home. In the evening, the way we want to go back home, after this life, after the death, we have to go back to our home, that is Goloka, to Krishna's abode. Delivering the Western countries. See, why they are very specifically saying Western countries is which are filled with impersonalism and voidism. See, in Indian, we have also learned that now we have divided this world into various countries. But in the previous, when initial days, the whole world was a single country, which was Bharatadesam, which is Hindu Desam. So later on, for various reasons, it got split into various countries. And so fortunately all of us are born in India, where we are following the old culture and the Hinduism, and we know who is God. Okay, out of ignorance we are not following it, we are not accepting it. But when we go to Western countries, they don't even know that Krishna is the God. So delivering us, we are not accepting Krishna as God because of our arrogance. But in Western countries, it is, they don't know. It is total ignorance. They never knew that there is a God, there is a life after death, there is a life before birth, and all things like that. So Chaitanya Prabhupada is the one who has started delivering all of them. So he is the one he is Prabhupada. And one more thing also, let us be frank to ourselves. When a person next to our house, or a person around, or to be very open, a person with a brown skin like us says something, we don't listen. Only when a white skinned man comes and says this is truth, we are listening. The other day we have discussed about Ekadasi. Ekadasi is something which is there in our blood. In every one of us know that Ekadasi has to be followed, but we never followed. Only when Japanese found out that Ekadasi is very good for health and that is what is to be followed, they received Nobel Prize. And now all of us clap for Ekadasi. Similarly, even for this accepting Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Prabhupada realized one thing, that if I teach in India, nobody will listen. So, to make Indians understand who is God, it is the Westerners who has to come to India and teach. If I teach, nobody will listen. This is what he decided. And so his guru has told him, you have to translate all the books. His guru, Bhaktivedanta Swami, no, who is his guru? Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami has told him, you start from there, you will do it. So, so he has done it and he was very successful. So now let us understand the life of Prabhupada. Okay. Prabhupada, now we are celebrating, last week we have celebrated the 125th birthday of Jainti of Prabhupada. That means he was born 125 years back. Government also recognized and released a coin of 125 rupees. So that's a great acceptance, releasing a coin of 125. Okay, so he was born on, actually we have celebrated it on the next day of Krishnastami. All of you know about Thidi, no? As per Thidis, he was born on the next day of Krishnastami. But as per English calendar, he was born on September 1st. Okay. I think this year it came on September 1st only. Okay. On September 1st, 1986, in a small suburban, in a small house, Prabhupada was born in Calcutta. And that was also the next day of Krishnastami. The next day of Krishnastami, when Krishna was born, everybody was very happy, as all of you know, except for Kamsa. So Nanda Maharaj, where Krishna was placed, who thought that he knows that Krishna was not his son and he was placed there. So he pretended as his father only. So he celebrated the next day in a very grand way, because he got a son, and that celebration is called as Nandotsav. So on the day of Nandotsav, when Krishna's father Nanda Maharaj observed a festival in the honor of Krishna's birth, the boy's uncle, so because that was the day when he was born, the boy who was born now he was named by his named means he was Mudduga. We call them in pet names, no, with that name as Nandulal. But his father and mother, his father's name was Gaur Mohan De and his mother's name was Rajini, named him as Abhay Charan, as if they know what this man is going to be tomorrow. They named him as Abhay Charan. Abhay means no bhayam, no fear. Charan means taking the shelter of the Lord Krishna's foot. Normally, when we go and surrender ourselves, we go and surrender to their legs. So he is a man of fearless, he is a man of no fear, and he is the person who is going to take shelter with the Krishna's legs. That's how he was named. And the astrologers also, those days when children were born, immediately the astrologer was called and the horoscope was written. When the horoscope was returned, the family felt very happy. Why? Because the astrologer said he is a great personality, and they said not now, but when he becomes 70, he is going to cross the ocean. See, now crossing the ocean means it's very simple. We just wherever, even for a holiday, even for 3 4 days holidays we have, we just take flight and go to some other country. But those days it was not like that. Going crossing the ocean means it was a major achievement in life. So he said he's going to cross the country and expand our religion, and then open 108 temples. Opening one temple, I think all of you know, construction of a house, all of you know how difficult it is. And opening a temple means, you know how more difficult it is. But when he was born itself, it was predicted that he is going to construct 108 temples after he is 70. After 70 means we feel we are out, our life is over. But that is when he started the actual propaganda of Krishna consciousness. Okay, so this boy's name was Abhay Charan. So his father, every when a child is born, the mother has her own desires, the father has their own desires. Mother wanted him to become a very successful lawyer, but the father wanted him to be a devotee of Radharani. Why a devotee of Radharani, and why not Krishna? Many, as we always discussed, Krishna is always behind his devotees. So, who is the biggest devotee of Krishna? All of us know. Who is the biggest devotee of Krishna? It is Radharani. So, if we pray to Radharani, what will happen? In turn, Radharani will bless us, and Radharani will recommend us to Krishna, saying that, see, this child is so nice, he's a great devotee, please take care of him. So his father wanted to become the devotee of Krishna. In fact, whenever we meet, we keep saying Hare Krishna to each other, right? So there are some people, those who say Hey Radhe, Hey Radhe. They don't say Hare Krishna. Even though they are devotees of Krishna, they don't say Krishna. They say Radha. Hey Radha, they say. So his father was wanted to become him a devotee of Radharani. Okay, and that's how everybody has their own desires, and that was their desires. And when Abhay was 1.5 years, he got typhoid. When he got typhoid, the doctor, what he was, those days, even now, when we get typhoid, we become very weak. But those days, it was much weaker. I mean, medicines were not this strong. So the doctor recommended him to have chicken soup. So, and the doctor gave. He himself prepared and gave. But see, if Prabhupada, just imagine such a great personality, a man just like that cannot become such a great personality. He must have done lot of, must have acquired lot of punyam or a lot of knowledge from his previous life. That's what we always talk now. That the previous karma is what we are having now. So, because of which he just, even though at 1.5 years he doesn't know what is vegetarianism, what is mm, uh, non-vegetarian, non-vegetarian, but just the smell of it or whatever he immediately wanted. That means that his every nerve, every cell, every gene, it just rejects what is bad. That is how the concept should be embedded in self. It would just sunk in ourselves that we just cannot accept it anymore. And hmm, and Abhay was a very pampered child, and he had lot of nicknames, and he was always called as Moti, Nandulal, Nandu, Kocha, and all his name. And he loved eating kachoris. I think all of you knows kachori, no? A sweet. So Prabhupada loved eating kachoris. So his grandmother used to call him Kachori Mukhi because of his fondness over kachoris. And when he was 3 years old, and when nobody was there around him, suddenly a big fire accident happened, and he was just playing with the matchsticks in front of the house, and big fire caught. fought, and then there was a big fire and nobody to save. But suddenly somebody came, just pulled him from there, kept him aside, and then disappeared. That means who is that has come? It is none other than Krishna. Nobody can see. See, so that way Krishna knows, because Krishna has sent him for a mission. So he has to fulfill. He cannot get injured. He cannot die. So Krishna has put him there and go, and there is a small scratch of burning on his leg, which is there till his last days. And like there was a lot of greenery. In Calcutta was a congested city even those days. So they only had roof garden when all of them used to go up and then play. And he also used to play, but most of the time he used to sit in one corner and keep thinking or doing something spiritual. And when Abhay was about 4 years, plague attacked. Plague is another viral infection. The way we are suffering from corona now, those days in our childhood and even before that, there was two infections called plague and what is that? Not cancer. Just now it came, it was gone. See, it comes with sick cancer, corona. No, I tell you. So when they come, it just spreads like anything. So what they used to do is in villages, I know villages, when they get this plague, whoever gets the infection, they used to leave the person there and vacate the village and go, because it spreads so fast that the total village will die. So when that problem has come, cholera and plague were the major diseases those days. TB was also a major disease those days. Now they are all getting treated very easily. So when it has come, a plague has come, and a lot of confusion was there. And one old Babaji organized a Hare Krishna Sankirtan all throughout the Calcutta. Then Abhay was a little child, but he loved it. And he was kneeling on his knees, and then was dancing, and then did lot of Hare Rama Sankirtan. Then after which slowly the plague got subsided. And later, and this Abhay Charan's father was a Vaishnava, that means a devotee of Krishna. So he was brought up like a Krishna conscious person only. And so in their house, they never touched a non-vegetarian or alcohol or intoxication, or the four regulatory principles which we always say should not be followed were never followed. They were never practiced there. His mother was always taking him to river Ganges and giving him bath and taking care of him in a very spiritual way. And he was always making lot of like any other child, he was always refusing to go to school, and then his mother has to send him to school, and he and his sister, younger sister, Bhavya Tarini, they were always going to Radha Govinda deities in the Mulik's temple. They were always playing there, and whenever they wanted something, they always were playing to Krishna. Even when they wanted to play kites, they were saying, Krishna, please give us some more kites, we want to play. That way, for everything they remember Krishna. From his childhood, he has developed that habit. And Abhay Charan, when he was 8 years old only, he organized a Ratha Yatra. We know what is Ratha Yatra, no? It is taking Krishna on the chariot all around the city. Actually, we have never discussed about this Ratha Yatra. We have to discuss about this Ratha Yatra. From the little knowledge I know, this is a very big festival done in Jagannath Puri in Orissa. There, the Krishna deities are they say, very powerful. And a lot of people go there and take darshan. But the problem there is a non-Hindu cannot enter the temple. But as all of us know, God does not differentiate. He does not differentiate between a Hindu, Muslim, Christian, or whatever. He does not differentiate between a upper class, lower caste. He does not differentiate between a Vaishnava, Brahmana, Sudra, Kshatriya. So, because these people don't allow anybody into the temple, Krishna himself comes out onto the roads and goes for a yatra. That is when anybody can take a darshan of Krishna. So from his the eighth, from his very young age itself, he was practicing Radha Yatra. He engaged all his family members, neighborhood, children around by pulling the cart. They were playing drums, they were doing kirtanas, they were doing chanting. And then their parents took care of preparing prasadam. In ISKCON, the major thing what we do is whenever there is a program, which we make it a point to distribute prasadam, because we believe, as we many times we talked about this prasadam. We always talked, when a prasadam is prepared, when a food is prepared, the consciousness with which the food is prepared is carried to the person who eats the prasadam. Okay, food. So when we prepare food with Krishna consciousness in a very religious means there's nothing religious here. We have to be totally in Krishna consciousness and then prepare the food and distribute the food. We believe that the Krishna consciousness will also be distributed to the people who eat it. And in ISKCON, normally prasadam means, in our childhood we always were saying prasadam means nalikka raskunne prasadam. That means something which should be written so small. But here in ISKCON we don't do like that. Prasadam means it is a full-fledged meal. That's how we distribute. Okay. Abhay Charan's father was a what do you call this, cloth merchant. And then they were all middle class people, and most of the time and money also they were spending on Krishna consciousness. And when Abhay was 6 years, his father, because he was a Krishna devotee, he asked his father to gift him with Krishna deities. Normally, whenever we get our birthday, our parents ask, "What do you want?" We always say, "We want new dress, we want new jewelry, we want a car, we want a bike." But Abhay Charan asked for Krishna deities. And so his father gifted him, purchased him little Radha Krishna deities and gave them to him. And every day he used to offer bhog. Bhog means a full-fledged meal to Radha Krishna, and only then he used to eat that as a prasada. And while sleeping, before sleeping, he used to put ghee lamp before God and then rest for the night, and put them for rest for the night. And when he was 15 years old, he got a disease called beriberi, a disease caused to inflammation of nerves, and which sometimes can lead to heart failure also. And this disease is normally got because of B1 deficiency, vitamin B1 deficiency. And for that they were, like they had a lot of Ayurvedic medicines. So he was given some powder which her mother was doing lot of massage on his legs, and slowly the swelling came down and Abhay recovered. But unfortunately, after a year, at the age of 46, his mother died. Suddenly she died. And then Abhay was a small boy, he was upset, but his father made him understand what is life, what is death, why we should not cry over death. He made him understand that death is nothing but changing of clothes. So his mother has finished her responsibilities in this world, have and left the body. So we should not lament on it. And so Abhay understood what it is. And then he understood. So later he went to college. There was in Calcutta those days, there were two prestigious colleges. One is prestigious college in Calcutta, a Presidency College, and the second one is Scottish Churches College. Abhay studied in Scottish Churches College. It was a Christian school, but a very deputed schools. Most of the big schools and colleges those days, because it was before independent, they were all Christian dominated only, because of the Britishers ruling us. And many of the Vaishnavas sent their sons there. And then Abhay became a member of the English Society, and he was reciting, because whatever it is, Prabhupada means he's a very intelligent man. So whatever he learns, he can learn very fast. Otherwise, not an easy to start such a big organization. So he was reciting Keats, Shelley, and other poets along with classmates. And he was a member of Sanskrit Society, and he recited Gita also. And he was always discussing about Bhagavad Gita to all his fellow students. Especially, he was mostly talking about the 11th chapter. What does the 11th chapter has? Last week, all of you heard. Can somebody tell me what does the 11th chapter talk about? What does the 11th chapter talk about? Krishna's excellent Sirimari, Krishna's universal form. So, see why he talked about Krishna's universal form. That is the major difference. What we can talk about Krishna to establish that Krishna is the God. That is the major difference we can show. Anybody claiming that he is God or she is God, just ask them to show that God means he is the creator. Only a creator can be God, the Supreme Personality. So from him everything should come. So any person whom who can show his universal form can be accepted as God. But can anybody else show the universal form? There will be so many Swamijis around. There will be so many people who believe their demigods as a God and all that. Demigods can always be worshipped. But we should always know the difference between a demigod and a God, a Swamiji and a God, a devotee and a God, a guru and a God. So he was always talking about the 11th chapter, describing the universal form of Krishna. And he also played many, those days there were no movies, there were no TVs. So it was whatever they want to say, they have to say it in dramas, stage dramas, that is theater dramas. And that day when he was in college, a famous organizer of theaters, dramas in Bengal, his name was Amritlal Bose, organized a big dance drama program on life of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We all know what is the life of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in which Abhay played the part of Advaita Acharya. Who is this Advaita Acharya? See, we have discussed about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birth. When we have talked about various reasons for the birth of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So one of the reasons was Advaita Mahaprabhu prayed for welcoming Lord Krishna to this universe, to this Bhumandal. So how did he welcome? How did he pray? Saligram in Ganga, there are some stones called Saligrama. In certain places in Ganga, all the stones they're called Saligrama, and they have some special feature. They were worshipped with tulsi leaves every day, asking Krishna to come. That is what Advaita Acharya did, and they say that is one of the reasons why Krishna has come in the form of Lord Chaitanya. So Abhay played the role of Advaita Acharya. And because the way he has acted, everybody in the audience got tears. Why will all the audience get tears? When an actor performs involving himself or herself in the activity, we feel as if we are seeing the real person. So we watch so many movies. The same character will be played by two people. One person does, we cry. The other person, we just watch like this. Why? Because of their involvement. Once we get totally involved, the feeling in our heart will be transmitted to the feeling in the other's heart. That's where we get tears. Because Abhay Charan always believed everything and practiced everything. He had that feeling what Advaita Acharya had. Okay? And while studying also, he studied Kalidasa Kumaraswamy. This is a great scripture. Even today, this scripture is very well accepted and worshipped. All the Sanskrit schools and everywhere they teach all this, they learn. This scripture belongs to 4th or 5th century. And this scripture is written in Sanskrit based on Vedas. It is a part of Vedas. Famous writer, this is a famous writing is Kumaraswamy. In Kalidasa, written by Kalidasa. Okay, it is about the birth of Kartikeya. That means Kumaraswamy. All of us know who is Kumaraswamy. He is the son of Lord Shiva and Parvati. This is they played that role. And while playing that role, see, when we are hearing something, everything doesn't sink into our body. Certain words, certain phrases, certain characters only we catch. So Abhay caught the word called Dhrita. Dhrita means undisturbed or self-controlled. So that is when he understood that we should not get disturbed with these material things, and we should have lot of self-control on us. And his classmates also found that Abhay is a different person, not like all of them, but he's a different person, that he's a very intelligent person, and he's always thinking about something different from them, and he's always thinking about religion, something philosophical and devotional about God. So his friends always realize that. One night, because now has come to the college, he left the deities what his father gifted him, and he was 6 years old. He left all of them in the house. So one night when he was in the college, he got a dream. And the dream, it was a very unusual dream. And in the dream, the deities which he was worshipping when he was in the house, while coming to college, he kept all of them in a box and then came here. So those deities came into his dream and said, why have you put us? Why have you put us in the box? You should take me and worship me along with you. No, wherever you are, you should worship me. Why are you leaving me there like a small child? Children ask the parents, no, why did you leave me at home? You should have taken. That way, because he loved those deities so much, the deities asked him, why did you leave us here? Then Abhay felt very sorry, and then that he has neglected the deities, and he resumed the worshipping of Radha Krishna at home. And because in spite of all his assignments and other things, he made it a point to worship the deities also regularly. And then he finished 1 or 2 years of college. That's when those days people were getting married at the age of very young, not even before they were 20 years. And so his father looked for a good match, and then he inquired with all his friends, and he got Prabhupada, Abhay Charan, married to Radha Rani Datta, the daughter of another Suvarna Vainika family associated with them. And so they just looked for a good family, and then got Abhay Charan married to Radharani Datta. And then after he finished his college, what attracted Prabhupada was Abhay Charan was the cotton industry. That means weaving of cloth. That was the days when independence struggle was going on. And this weaving of cloth, it not only leads to a simple life, but it increases national economy on a longer run. Why? How does it increase? So now we are importing lot of cloth. If we start weaving cloth, and if we start wearing only cotton in India, what will happen? You children may not understand all this. The foreign currency will be saving, because of which the Indian economy will get improved. The dollar value will come down. So this is what Gandhiji was emphasizing those days also. But Abhay, he was a follower of Gandhi, no doubt. But Abhay followed this because he believed very much in our spiritual books and spiritual knowledge. Our spiritual knowledge doesn't preach us to wear all silk clothes and costly clothes. It preaches us to wear anything we do. Our spiritual knowledge, what does it do? What is the purpose of what we are doing? We are wearing clothes. Why are we wearing clothes? To protect our body. So we should have minimum clothes and wear it to protect our body, not to show off. That way also, he believed that wearing khadi and Indian made clothes is right. So he has shifted himself to wearing a cloth, and which is indirectly, it is nothing but promotion of Gandhianism. Gandhianism. Okay. So he was, when he was immediately after marriage, that means when he was about 20 years itself, he shifted to khadi. In 1920, Abhay completed his, that means 100 years from before, from now, that means when he was 24. He completed his fourth year of college, and after his final exams, he took short vacation. He traveled in a train. Those days, traveling was normally, if it is a long distance, it was on trains, and if it is a short distance, it was on bullock carts and other things, things like that. So he traveled on train to Jagannath Puri, and then he had the deities darshan for the first time in Jagannath Puri, and he has seen how every day about 56 different gigantic offerings were made to Krishna there. There in Jagannath, we don't have Radha. We have Krishna, Balaram, and Subhadra deities. So he has seen how they were offered. Uh, and he has also was impressed with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's deity there. If follow any one of you go there, just look for this also. I have visited Jagannath Puri maybe 15 years back. Those days I was not into ISKCON. This I just went there. I don't remember to have seen Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu six-armed form. It seems there is a form, six-armed form of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu there. What does the six arms, six hands reflect? It manifests himself simultaneously from Krishna, Rama, and Krishna Chaitanya. We know that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Sri Krishna himself. So it is none other than Rama. That means every two hands represents one. So Abhay stayed there for 3 to 4 days, and then took darshan and went around and all that. And later, Abhay's friend, Narendranath Mullik, took Abhay to meet a sadhu in Mayapur. Can somebody tell me what is Mayapur, the significance of Mayapur? Can somebody tell me the significance of Mayapur? Who is telling me? Tell, chat. Chat. Yes. Yes, Sunita's iPhone. Harshit Chaitanya was born there. Excellent. Sunita's iPad. Can the kid's name be put there, please? Sunita's iPad. I would like to address the kids with their names. Sunita's iPad. Okay. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And after 2 years or so, we'll all plan for a trip to Mayapur. I don't know how many of you are going to come with me. We'll all go. Why after 2 years? That is because there is a huge construction coming there. The biggest dome in the universe. And what is that they are doing there? It's very interesting. We have been talking about the Krishna's creation, how different the universe. It is not the planetary system what we study in our social studies. It is all the lokas, how they are formed. Where is Goloka? Where is Bhuloka? Where is Vargaloka? And where is Patala Loka? The total creation, how it is done, is depicted there. If you just enter that building, sometimes if you just go type in the Google also, you will get it. It's only half done there, but very soon it will be done. And in the initial days, we can't even go. There'll be so much of rush there. So that fantastic construction is coming there. So all of us in some holidays, we'll just plan. We'll go for a trip and all of us will go and then see it and come. Okay? So that is Mayapur. That is where Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born. That is the sanctity of that. So, so he went there, the birthplace of Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and they walked there and they went to Gaudiya Mutt, and then they saw there Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is the guru of the way we all worship Prabhupada. He is the guru of Prabhupada, who was wearing a tulasi chain in the neck and putting tilak, 12 markings of tilak on his head, and a clean Brahmin white Brahminical thread in his neck, and and then these two, his friend Narendranath Mullik and Prabhupada, both of them gave their obeisances. They just put pranama. And then these are all great personalities, great, they are all blessed souls, no? So immediately when Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur saw Prabhupada, and then before they got up, it said that Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, "You are educated young man. Why don't you preach Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's message throughout the whole world?" This is what he said. Then Abhay immediately said, "Worried, who will hear?" Okay, I will say, but who will hear? Fortunately, here I am saying you are hearing. Only when somebody hears, we can say, see, every day normally 25 people come. Only today 10 people have come. Okay, that's okay. They will hear the audio. But then those days it was one-to-one preaching. So immediately Abhay asked, who will hear? Then Lord Chaitanya, he will say, who will hear the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's message in India when this country is totally dependent on British rule? Who will, I mean, like nobody is encouraging us to propagate Hinduism. When such a thing is happening, how can I propagate Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's preachings? This is what Abhay's doubt was. Then Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur said, see, Krishna conscious is so important that it cannot wait. So what he said is, you want to do something, we should never wait for the time to come. We should try for the opportunity and grab. We should never think here. He said, when he says so important that it cannot wait, what does it mean is this should be a life lesson for us. Anything we want to do, we should never wait for the opportunity. Opportunities will never come. It is for us to grab the opportunity. Anything like that, anything we do, we should grab the opportunity. We should go in hunting of the opportunity. And so automatically things, when a ball is rolling, it catches dust. So if the ball is statically standing there, no dust will come and fall on it. So we should always be on the move, trying to do what we want to do. Suppose you are learning something here, you want to tell somebody. If you think, okay, if 100 people, 10 people come to me, 10, I will teach them. No, 10 people will come to you. You just tell your close friend. If the close friend is impressed, she will go and tell her close friend. Then they, both of them will come to you. Then the third day, the third person will come. Then the fourth day, the fifth person will come. If you are talking in a proper way and the right thing, automatically it will increase. Anything like that. Anything we want to do, we should never wait for the opportunity. We should grab the opportunity, because all of us know our time in this world is very limited, and we got a life which is very, very impossible to get, a human life. So we cannot waste one day also, and we should utilize every second of this time. And this, the boldness with which the man replied, the Abhay was impressed. Right, this is what he said is right. He said it was late. Abhay, then they were talking about what to do, how to do, and they were talking, they talked to this man for more than 2 hours. So then Naren asked, because Naren took him, Abhay to him, he said, okay, Naren, now what's your opinion on him? Then Abhay said, he's a wonderful personality. And then he said, continued, the message of Chaitanya is in his hands and he's an expert person. That means Abhay Charan understood that this is the man who has the total knowledge about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur had the total knowledge about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That means whom normally we try to go and adopt as a guru, a person who has got more knowledge. When we are listening to somebody also, we normally try to listen to a person who has more knowledge and who can deliver the knowledge properly. Having the knowledge and not able to deliver also is not correct. So, so he understood that this Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is a man of lot of knowledge of Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the scriptures, and he is an expert person there. After meeting Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Abhay started associating with more and more with Gaudiya Math devotees. And then so to understand who this Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is, his father's name is Bhakti Vinoda Thakur, and he had 10 children, and this man is one amongst them. And he is from a great Vaishnava family, and he is a disciple of one of Lord Krishna Chaitanya himself. He is into that. Lord Krishna Chaitanya was born, all of us know, he was here 500 years back. And Prabhupada was here 125 years back. That means there is a gap of around 300 years between. So Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had his followers, and finally it came to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prabhupada. So this Bhakti Vinoda Thakur is one of the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he was a magistrate, a very famous magistrate, and he was a very big government officer. And he was a superintendent of a temple of Lord Jagannath also, and he had 10 children. And having 10 children, being a government officer and superintendent of a temple and having a big family with 10 sons, we know how busy he will be, but he never sacrificed his devotional services. And every day after coming back from his office, immediately he used to finish off his meals and then sleep until midnight, and then get up and write till morning. Here, what is that we are learning? In our Discover Yourself classes, we studied about this. If we sleep from 8 o'clock to 12 o'clock in the night, which is the right time to sleep? Okay, none of us can follow or will follow. That's a different thing. It is as good as that 8 to 12 is 4 hours. It is as good as sleeping for 8 hours. 4 into 2, 8 hours. That means here this man is saving 4 hours of his day. Out of 24 hours, he is making it as 28 hours. See, we always think, I'm so busy, I have so much of work, I wish I have another 2 hours of the time in every day. But is this man not having 28 hours a day? So he used to sleep at 8 o'clock in the night and get up at 12 o'clock in the midnight and start writing the books. And we also studied that if you sleep from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock, that means from 10 to 2, we are sleeping 2 hours, that is 4 hours. From 10 to 12, from 12 to 2, 2 hours. It is 6 hours of sleep. If you sleep at least from 10 to 4 in the morning, that will be 8 hours. Here, 2 hours into 2 is 4 hours. There, from 12 to 4 is 4 hours, 8 hours. So this is where we people can save our day. Our 24 hours can be increased to 22 hours or 28 hours. So that is how this man used to do. And then he used to write till in the morning. What was he writing? All those days, the books were in Sanskrit. So, and they were rewriting the books. He wrote more than 100 books. One of the most important contributions with the cooperation of another Prabhuji called Jagannath Das Babaji and Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, his gurus. He located, he did lot of research and located the exact birthplace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Mayapur. Because 300 years have passed, lot of if there was no consciousness that this place is a very, like now, very when great people are born, what we are doing, that house or the place, the college he did it, the school he studied, the place he had born, we are preserving it, and not that property is not given to their heirs, and not they cannot sell it or use it. So that will be preserved by the government. That way we are preserving the the memories of great people. Because it was not done in those days, is the places were not born. In fact, it was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his followers who located all the places in Vrindavan, where Krishna lived. All the memories, everything, lot of things what we see in Vrindavan now was identified by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his followers. Before that, there was nothing. Because today I have seen in the paper that in Tamil Nadu, one excavation was done, and the civilization of 3,500 years was found in India, in Tamil Nadu. That means, as time passes, what happens is even the cities, towns, everything get, for some major disaster will happen, and everything will get covered and buried. So they were trying to. It is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who brought all of them out. So, and again, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birthplace and other memories, this man has brought them out. And then, even though when he was having children one after other, before he was born, his father prayed for him, saying that I want a real devotee son. Even though he had a lot of children, he was not satisfied with the devotion they had. So he prayed for a real devotee son, and that is when Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was born to him. And in 1874 he was born on February 6th. He was born in Jagannath Puri. So everybody thought, okay, his father prayed for a very good devotee, and the devotee was born. And then, okay, I think all of you know what is an umbilical cord is. That umbilical cord is the connection between the mother and the child, which after the child is born is cut. So that is from which the child gets the food. That umbilical bond was wrapped around his body, throat, and everything. The way it was just put, the way as if the Brahmins put the thread around them, no? The umbilical cord was put like that. And he was named as Bhimala Prasad. And when Bhimala Prasad was around 4 years, from his childhood, he was told to eat anything only after offering it to Krishna. And when he was 4, by mistake, he ate a mango without offering it to Krishna. Then his father scolded and said, as a punishment, you should never eat mango in your life again. And from then, he never ate mango in his life. And when he was 7 years of age, entire Bhagavatam he could recite. He even explained the verses of it. And then he was trained very well on it, and he was doing proofreading and printing, and he was publishing a magazine, a Vaishnava magazine called Sajjana Toshini. And when he was 25 years old, he had become well versed with Sanskrit, mathematics, astronomy, and established, and he became the author of one book called Surya Siddhant. He received the name as Siddhanta. That is when he got the name as Siddhanta Saraswati. When he was around 26, his father guided him to take initiation from Gaurakishore Dasa Babaji. That means his father never forced him to become a family man. He said, you become a sannyasi. And he was asked to take initiation. You know what is initiation? Initiation is a oath we take with our guru, saying that we are going to become not sannyasi. All initiations are not sannyasis. That we are going to follow the principles as prescribed in our scriptures. So at the age of 26 itself, with his guru Gaura Kishore Dasa Babaji, he took initiation. Mm, and then he resolved to, and then he decided to dedicate his body, his mind, his words in Krishna's service. And now in 1911, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur took up the challenge. Like those days, as and we talked about it, no? In why did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu come? Because there was a lot of domination on Vaishnavas who said only Brahmins should worship, others should not worship. And we discussed a lot about the caste system also. And we understood actual caste system as described in the scriptures and the pseudo caste system which we are following now. So there was a very big debate on pseudo Vaishnavas. That means who Vaishnavas. They say only Vaishnavas should do this, only Brahmin should do this. So there was a very big debate which was organized. And then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati took up this challenge and wrote a beautiful book on the preachings of Krishna consciousness and presented to his father. That regardless of birth, one can be a Vaishnava. This is the most beautiful thing in Hinduism, which none of us knew before coming to Krishna consciousness. We always thought Brahmins are different, Kshatriyas are different, Sudras are different. But now we know that the caste system is based on birth and on our behavior and not based on our birth. So on the pseudo Vaishnava, there was a big debate. And when he has written a beautiful book, and then this and he tried to prove the inferiority of Vaishnavas, where the Vaishnavas are doing it wrong, and he gave it to he wrote the book, the conclusion difference between Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. What is the difference between a Brahmana and a Vaishnava? And submitted to his father. His father was already old by then. And then he submitted to his father, and then he presented it, and then they proved themselves that, and there's a lot more what I have prepared. It's almost 5 o'clock, and today it's more of a theory. So if I tell more, you might get confused. Okay. So I would like to stop and then we'll continue later. Okay. So they proved that Brahmanas, Vaishnavas, anybody can become a Vaishnava with their behavior. And then after that, his father passed away. And with his spiritual master, Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur continued the mission of, along with his spiritual master, he continued the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then he took the editorialship of Sajjana Toshini, the magazine, and established Bhagavatam Press in Krishnanagar. Then in 1981 in Mayapur, he sat down before a picture of Gaurakishore Das Baba, his guru, and initiated himself into the sannyasi order. Okay, and then he became as Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. Okay, and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was dedicated to using printing press. Best, see, these days we have all TVs, WhatsApp, and then media where we can circulate a lot of things. But those days it was only books. Newspaper was also not much circulation, but whatever in the newspaper, they cannot circulate this kind of an information. So it was only books. So he was running a printing press and he was writing in large scale distribution of Krishna conscious books. He thought of printing like he used to print. He always believed that if you sing a song, the song will be popularized. That way, if you just distribute books, it becomes very popularized. And then this Abhay Charan also started reading all these books. This is where Prabhupada got all the knowledge from Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's books. Okay, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was teaching the conclusion of Lord Chaitanya's teaching that Lord Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead and that the chanting of holy name should be stressed above all the religion practices. Our authority of the scriptures should, as the Brahma Rudra Vaishnava, I'm not getting this word. Brahman, what is this? Okay. Naradiya Purana. This is what is told in this Purana. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur had specially cited the Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is where Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur told Prabhupada that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and that the holy name of chanting should be stressed over all the religious practices. That means you need not do any religious practice, but just keep chanting, keep chanting and chanting. Okay. Okay. Shall we stop here or shall we continue? We'll stop here. Okay, right. So, Hare Krishna. So, we'll stop here. So, this is a new variety of class now we are having. New variety means till now we had all PPTs, lot of presentations, examples, but now we are into mostly theory. Because Prabhupada's, we cannot have the way we had Krishna stories, pictures and all. So, are you able to follow all of you?
Yes, Mataji.
So, do you like today's class? Did you understand? Because
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
yeah, it's okay now. If you want me to improve somewhere, because this class will continue for at least 3-4 more classes or even more. So if you are not clear at some places, or if you want me to change something, I'll go in that manner. If you are okay, comfortable with it, I'll continue this way. Okay.
Yes,
In fact, from the scripture whatever I have taken, I have removed all the complicated issues and tried to make it simple like a story and trying to make it simple. Okay?
okay, Mataji.
So all of you are okay?
Okay, Mataji.
Very good.
Mataji, I have a doubt,
Yeah,
Mataji. Mataji, you told Mataji Radharani is a great devotee of Krishna. You told Radharani is nothing but female potency of
Yes.
Krishna.
And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is no other than Krishna himself. Why? Because he wanted to propagate. The love potency of Krishna has come out. The love, that is a devotion. That is the love. He is Radharani is a devotee, and that is the love potency of Krishna. Like, why did Krishna become a devotee of himself as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? That is one way of expressing himself. So Radharani is a devotee of Krishna. See, all of us are from Krishna. Agree?
Yes, Mataji.
All of us are a part and parcel of Krishna. Right?
Yes,
That means
Mataji.
we are not Krishnas. Like your father and mother are there. As far as you are concerned, both of them are one. Okay, either it's your father or mother, they are your take care. They are your. But you try to go to your mother if you want something, or your father, whoever is pampers you more. When you want something, either you go to your father or to your mother. Normally, a girl child goes to father, and a boy child goes to the mother, and then they ask. So that person convinces the second person. Why? Because of the love they have, the affection they have, the intimacy they have. So the most intimate person to Krishna, the most person who can serve Krishna is Radharani. It is the love of Krishna only, but in the form, all the devotees who are there, they are also part of Krishna. But that soul loves Krishna more than everybody. It is the soul, it is the...
Mataji, Prabhupada's name was Abhay Charan. No? Who kept the name Prabhupada?
That you'll come across that once they take initiation, their name changes. Okay. Even our Prabhuji's name, Balagovinda Prabhuji, no? Balagovinda Das. His name is Balagovinda Das. we call him as Prabhuji. His actual name is something different. After he has taken the initiation, about 20 years back he must have taken, our Balgovind Prabhuji's name is Brahmachari. Actual name is. So we, in his official records, in his office, everywhere it is written as Brahmachari only. But we, because we are connected to him only to this devotion, to this ISKCON society, we address him as Balgovinda Prabhuji. But when if somebody asks him, what is your name? He should not say, my name is Balgovinda Prabhuji. He will say, my name is Balgovinda Das. That means I am a Das of, I am a servant of Balgovinda. All okay. And if a lady takes devotion, her name will be named. Suppose I take initiation. Now my name is Padmavati. So they will name it as okay, Padmavati can be made, change it to some totally new name, or they can in Vati they can remove, and then they can say Padma Devi Dasi. The Dasi word will be added at the end. Okay, or it can be
in Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Das is not there, no? Das.
Beyond all this, Amma. You will understand it slowly. Prabhupada, you will slowly, that is step by step by step. They will become the Prabhupada, they will become, that is one of the highest. Then they become Maharaj, but they become Prabhuji. From there, they become Maharaj. From there, it is steps. He is the supreme, one of the many people. So finally, it goes there. So the Das is at the starting stage. Nana, Harshit, tell me.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Mataji, what was the name of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's?
I told Amma, I told you, no? His name is. I told you his name. He told his name. His name was. His name was what? I'll tell you.
Okay.
Bimala Prasada.
Okay.
Bimala Prasada. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Anything else? Right. So shall we close? And then all of you, if you want the change of time because of the school, because you people are going to have school up to 4 o'clock. If you want change of time, please message in the group. We will change. We'll change to a convenient time. Okay.
Mataji, can we keep our class at 5 o'clock?
Yeah, we can. That's what I suggested. No, 5 o'clock on Saturday, because 4 o'clock children are coming back from home. After they come, they should just eat something, relax, and sit for the class. So that's what I was suggesting. If Saturdays, if all of you have classes, schools, and if you cannot join at 3:30, from next week we'll have class at 5 o'clock. So all of you think about it and then message in the group. Based on the common timing, we shall have it. Okay?
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Can I close it?
Yes, Mataji.
Right. Thank you. All of you have marked the attendance, no?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
No, Mataji, 1 minute. 1 minute.
All of you mark your attendance.
Yes, Mataji.
Amini, Victor, Siddhi, Sanvi. Sanvi, you have joined. You said you are not joining today, no? Good.
Yes, Mataji. I've joined through my grandfather's phone.
Excellent, Amma. You should have joined at the recitation also. No problem. Next week you can recite. Tomorrow, are you not participating in recitation, Sanvi? 108 slokas, 55 slokas?
I will, Mataji.
Then I don't think you have given your name, no? You have not added in your name in the list. Just give. Only 4 have added. Just see and then add.
Mataji.
Just add your name. Anybody else who are participating, please practice the Bhagavad Gita slokas. They'll be very important. Instead of 700 slokas, we just made it 108 slokas only. Because the more you practice, the more the concept and the idea of Bhagavad Gita will sink into your mind. Otherwise, it will be like ISKCON, say ISKCON. It will come into this ear and go from that ear. So it's very important all of you learn, and if you learn at this age, you will never forget in your life. So please learn the slokas perfectly. Okay? So as many as possible. Those who are not 100% confident with 55, whatever you know, please recite. If you know 5, tell that. If you know 10, tell that. No problem. But participate. Yamini, are you not learning? Hare Krishna.
Mataji, I am learning, Mataji.
But you have not given your name, no?
Yes, Mataji.
Why? How many slokas do you know?
45, Mataji.
Very good. Excellent. Very good. That's a good number. Give your name.
Okay, Mataji.
So Yamini, Akshaya has given Divya. Divya, you are a regular student, no Divya? You are a regular enemy of this program. Are you not learning slokas? Pushkar also regularly attends. Whatever slokas you learn, please recite. If it is 5 also, it's okay. Roshan, okay, Siri, Vivikta. Vivikta, are you new to this group or are you there from the beginning? Hare Krishna. Okay. So whoever are whatever slokas you know, please recite tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock, we'll meet. Okay. I'm closing. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.